So welcome to the Wednesday morning mindset. How's everybody doing? How has your last couple of days here, beginning of the week, been? How does your Monday and Tuesday go? Do you guys have good Mondays and Tuesdays? You know, it's such an odd experience, a feeling that I get when I get in on a Wednesday. It's incredible what your psychology will do and adapt to. You gotta pay attention to the outer lining of the psychology that you hold, because you've got specific objectives, things that you're trying to accomplish, things you know you need to get done. And when you come in on a Monday, we always deal with that perspective, that chaos a little bit, right? Again, I challenge you to just not allow that to exist. That's an allowance. Okay, Tuesday, you're still at beginning of the week. You still feel that beginning of the week, so you're still kind of in that mind frame that the week's in its beginning stage. Then you get to Wednesday, and what happens on Wednesday, that transitional day? Most of the time, we start thinking about the weekend. We start thinking about, oh, the week's going to start transitioning to being over. It's interesting that we don't necessarily even have a given day where we're like, this is a normal, standardized day, that it's not considered the beginning or some transitional mentality towards the end of it. Those ideas of Monday being, let's just say, the chaos day, Tuesday being kind of still the beginning of the week, like getting my gears ready, Wednesday being like that first look towards the weekend. Those outer linings of the things that you're trying to accomplish from that perspective, shake those off. Okay, get them off you. It's like having ants that crawl up your feet, up under your pants, and into your underwear. Get them off you. Okay, don't label your prospective days in such a manner that you are transitioning and aiding to the power that you really could have with the focus you could give in a given day, a given moment, really, by the perspective of what that day may mean to you, because it will literally come in and be part of every part of your thought. Oh, you're on Monday, things feel chaotic. Oh man, Mondays are always chaotic. Right? Tuesday, you come in, you're like still the beginning of the week, and I'm going to get some stuff in order. I'm really going to get focused this week. So you still got this idea that this Tuesday still is preparation day because Monday was so tough. And now Tuesday's your real preparation day. Wednesday comes and you're already imagining the weekend, like, oh, it's Wednesday. Those thinking models that we carry forward, that we were given by those of mediocrity around us, by old bosses that we had when we used to work at the fast food restaurants. Okay, that old mentality, you got to get rid of it. Every single day is a day that your absolute destiny could be written. Every single moment that you work is a magical place to be. Get rid of your definitions of what a specific day means. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And for me, Saturday. For some of you, maybe the same. Make every day matter. Okay? Don't define it in the wrong proportions. You're shaping your life. You're scaling your life. You're trying to become more than you are. And in the process of becoming more than you are, you have to break the borders of those definitions that you give yourself. Especially the ones like Monday is tough. Tuesday's still the beginning. I can still prepare and plan. Oh, Wednesday I can start looking towards the weekend. Thursday's the relaxed day, you'll notice. A lot of people just like, well, I did what I could this week. And then Friday, of course. Oh, man, I'm so glad it's Friday. This weekend's here. What am I doing tonight? What are my friends up to? If you really think about that whole model, it's almost like the entire week could be wasted if you allow it to be defined that way. If you don't shape it from the perspective that every day could be something incredible and amazing. Okay, and how do you do that? It's by cultivating attention, which brings us to the subject today. My name is Beto Paredes. This is the Morning Mindset. It is Wednesday. So if you're here and you're listening to this on a recording, you can join us every morning, Monday through Friday, And that is at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time by going to tinyurl.com/MMS today. And of course, as always, we cover a subject. And I'd like you to get a pen, get a notebook, kind of think about what it is that we're talking about today. How can you incorporate that to make your day better? To make the things that you're trying to accomplish matter more, mean more to you personally. Okay, today we're going to talk about defending your attention. Okay, what does that mean? Well, I've been getting into Brendon Burchard lately. If you guys are into him at all, he's a big deal in the personal development industry. And I hadn't really listened to a lot of his stuff or read any of his books or any of that stuff yet. I wanted to, though. And so this morning we started listening to him. And he was very effective. Really gave a good message. In fact, me and my wife, when we drive to work, it's usually about 20 minutes. And most of the time, we unplug whatever we're listening to. We sat there for a minute before we actually got into the office and listened to the rest of what he had to say, because he's a very effective personal development trainer. Really like him. And he was talking about aim and direction and intention. And, I really have a true belief that most of the personal development trainers, myself even, and others, really bring this focus of attention in as a very important principle. And it's difficult because you want to be fascinated by listening to someone speak. You want to be inspired. You want to hear something a little bit different, a little bit new. Well, focus and attention. How long have we been told that? Probably all the way from kindergarten, when we're sitting there, we're supposed to be coloring in a sun with our yellow crayon, and we're over here turning the sun into some big sea monster with green and yellow and blue, and here comes the teacher, like, oh, you're supposed to be a sun. Pay attention, right? We've been doing this since we were little. Okay, but it is so critical, so powerful, and so important to know just how much this really can do for you. So, defend your attention and focus. I brought in some quotes from some people I really like. A lot of times I'll do that. Sometimes I go from the ideas that I have, and I can sit down and get really inspired. And sometimes I'm thinking about the thoughts of others. Today, that's one of those days. So I brought 3 quotes up here by Tony Robbins, Albert Einstein, and Bruce Lee. 3 of I would consider my mentors, right? Number 1, what you focus on, you're going to feel. Okay, Tony Robbins talks about that so much, and I didn't really understand the power of it until I started speaking to my son about it. Okay, because he can get obsessed. He's a 15-year-old boy. You guys, right? If you have a 15-year-old son, their minds can become fairly obsessed with things. And I told him, like, what you're thinking about, you're gonna feel. And one of my earlier mindsets, I talk about the fact that you don't feel, you see. Okay, you actually see, you don't feel. Feelings are a result of what you see. Okay, when you see something in your mind or something outside of yourself, like my wife or my children or a sunset or a beautiful flower or an incredible day, or in my case during the winter, powder so I can go snowboarding, when I see things, I feel what it is that I'm paying attention to. What you focus on, you're going to feel. So you want to be very careful with the things that you allow into your mentality, into your focus, into your attention. As Jim Rohn says, stand guard at the door of your mind. Okay, don't let everything just come flowing into your mind, and don't let everything just come in and change the attention that you have. Okay? To have a little bit more fun with it, we'll quote Albert Einstein. Any man who could drive safely while kissing a pretty girl is simply not giving the kiss the attention it deserves. I'm sorry, but that's one of my favorite quotes as that. I actually read that a long time ago, made me laugh, and I found it when I was looking some stuff up to share with you guys on attention. But there's a real positive, pleasurable way of thinking about it. I mean, how true is that? Okay? If you're going to focus on something, you want to give it your full attention. And you want to keep the things that could possibly move against it, that defend away from it, out of your perspective. Now, I've been studying a lot about time management. Time management is a fascinating subject for me. I am a master juggler. I've got several clients. I've got a few different companies. I've got some joint venture partnerships. And on a daily basis, I have to do everything I can to give them as much of myself and my attention, my focus as I can possibly muster. Okay? I do. I try. Some days I succeed. Those are incredible days. But the reality is, you've got to be able to get into a perspective, time management wise, where you're paying attention and only attention to the thing that you're working on, and that the thing that you're working on needs to be very specific to those goals you're trying to accomplish. Because if you allow other things to come into your mind, you're going to feel what you see in your mind. Your self-esteem remaining high will allow you to feel and focus on things that allow you to progress. If you start thinking about things that hurt your self-esteem, then you're going to start focusing on things that give you an emotional response to things that are going to delineate your focus. As Brendan Burchard talked about this morning, you have to have an aim. He talked about 5 principles. I'm not going to get into all of them, but I will talk about aim. He talked about attention was another one, actually. But people that are aimless, you know these people. Sometimes you feel aimless, right? And it makes the world around you feel like a wilderness. That's what he's talking about. You know, that you don't have this perspective, this aim, this goal, this focus. Okay? Bruce Lee even said that your focus a lot of times, or not your focus, your goals are really a direction. We talked about that before, that your blueprint is a direction. Okay, so you've got to have an aim. You got to aim your attention towards the things that you're trying to accomplish. And I'm getting back to the time management comment that I made. So what I'm trying, and maybe all of you can try this with me, right? Maybe this is something that you can spend some time with yourself. Who knows? But the time management perspective, let's talk about that. I have so much that I have to do on a consistent basis. Okay, my to-do list is ridiculous. In fact, I've learned to keep 2 different lists. I've got a standardized to-do list in my CRM, are things I absolutely know I have to do because they are strategically important and necessary by deadlines on the things that I'm accomplishing. That is my you must do list. Okay, I've got another list I'm keeping in a book, a nice written book that I keep right next to me. And that list are things I know I need to develop. Things that I need to focus on and develop over time, start moving them into the more important list. Ideas, okay, perspective on the business models that I have. Okay, I keep that on a separate one right there on my left hand. I'm left-handed, so I have it to where I can just write with it in my left hand, right? So time management-wise, I'm trying something new. I am focusing with an extreme focus for 45 minutes on, let's say, a phone call with somebody. And for example, if that person is somewhat of value to me, which everyone I ever speak with should be a person of value in any perspective, I always got to think about it that way, I'm going to give them a full 45 minutes of my time. Not 15, maybe the conversation seems over in 15 minutes. I'm going to discover how I can enrich that conversation and go as far as I can in that 45-minute period. And then I'm going to stop for 10 minutes and do something completely different that's not focused on work, and then I'm going to take 5 minutes and plan my next gameplay of the next 45-minute period. I'm going to go hard again. And the one thing that is congruent to this lesson that I'm talking to you about right now is that 45 minutes is a gameplay. Okay? When you're playing football and you break out of that huddle and you're on the line, you don't jump up and go get a drink of Gatorade in the middle of it, do you? It's just a funny way of putting it, but you know, right? So the reality is that in that 45-minute period, I plan to really not let anything but what I planned. Okay, when I was back in that huddle with myself for that 5 minutes, all right, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do this 45 minutes? And I think strategically, what is the most important thing to get done right now? And even if I'm not 100% correct, okay, I got 5 minutes to plan it. That is a lot of time if you use it right. I got 5 minutes to plan it, but then it is on. And I go hard for 45 minutes, and I don't let anything delineate that focus. I don't suddenly go, oh, I forgot to do X. If I did, I just write it down. I got this scratch pad on my left as well that's made for that. If something comes to my head in the middle of doing that and it's away from that focus, I scratch it down and I stay the course. Defend your attention and focus. Now, why am I doing it with this time format? Why do I suggest at least, considering it? Okay, something that you guys could consider. I'll tell you why. is because of the fact that it is a really important perspective that we do this often, all day, that we don't come in and have this big focus. Sometimes that happens to me. I focus really hard for like 2 or 3 hours, and I stand up, I'm like, yes, really got a lot done. Right? And I even tell my wife a lot of times, who's my business partner, if any of you don't know that, right? That, man, I can produce. Sometimes I am so productive, right? I can write 11, 12 pages of commentary and content and business modeling, and I could just produce sometimes. And then when I'm done, it's like my production is done. Just walk around all proud, like my production is done. Like throw my hands up in the air, like, woo, I did this. And then what? And then the rest of my day, I want to drink coffee, my hand on my hip like I'm some Captain America. Sometimes I do that. How unproductive is that? How about 8 45-minute periods where I just go wham, bam, 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 bam? Planned out. Time management is critical. But you got to do it with the right time frames, and it all depends on what you do for a living. You can find a lot of this stuff online. Basically, time incremental time management. If you look that up, you'll find some good stuff. So I'm going to try that because I want to focus my attention and really be able to do things of value on a daily basis and in that day with the perspective that I owned that day, that I really made that happen. So I want you to think about trying that yourself. So when you start a project, create a quick symbol to concentrate your mind. Now this is just a really easy little trick, okay? For example, let's just say that I need to work on some stuff for Epic Life. Let's say that I'm working on our 28-day life experience that we have coming up. So I might write the numbers 28D and put a circle around it, and that just creates a symbol, okay? And then as I am in my 5 minute of planning, just kind of creating a real quick symbol for myself, if my attention draws away to something else that's not focused on the 28-day life experience, I will just concentrate that symbol in my mind as the factual reality that I needed to work on that, and that should be the only thing I'm concentrating on. Okay, symbols are powerful. If any of you are a student of Jung, or Jung, I do believe is the proper way to say. I've been talking to a lot of Jungian psychologists lately. I'm fascinated by his structure and study. But the reality is, if you hold that symbol in your mind, whenever your attention starts to draw away from the things that you're doing, and it means everything that it should in that 45-minute period that you need to concentrate, then you have a point in your mind that you can come back to that means what it is that you're doing for that 45 minutes. If it starts to trail, because our minds are monkeys. Monkey, 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 monkey on the bed. Okay, that's what our minds are. Okay, so you can say, I'm going to focus, I'm going to have this down, I'm going to make this happen today, and as soon as you start focusing, then them monkeys start jumping all over the bed. Okay, so you got to have something where you can stand guard of the attention that you are requiring of yourself, because as Bruce Lee says, as you think, so shall you become. As you think, so shall you become. Listen, I can't even speak this morning. Think about that. Okay, if your attention is on the things that are going to allow you to accomplish your goals, your strategic desires in life, you will become those things. You've got to keep yourself in a simple, straightforward ideology. Defend your attention and focus. What you focus on, you're going to feel. And as you think, so shall you become. So again, remember my little trick. When you start a project, create a quick symbol to concentrate your mind. So you can pull yourself back to that intellectually and push the monkeys off the bed and stay focused. Okay, let's do something powerful today. It is not Wednesday. Okay, let's just forget about the name of today. And let's just do something powerful, imaginative, focused. What do you want to do in the next 45 minutes? What do you want to do in the 45 minutes after that? Your goals are big, your dreams are big, but what are you going to do right this moment? What state, as Tony Robbins brings it in, are you going to be in for the day? Let's get it going. Thank you for spending your time here with me. Let's get out there and make this a powerful day, and we will be back here again tomorrow morning.